Let's do this.
All right, we are recording. Good morning, everyone.
Good
That's
morning.
yeah, that's good morning for everyone that doesn't speak Dutch. My name is Leland Daines, and I am owner and community builder at Gravel City Adventure and Supply Company. And this morning we have some very special guests on our gravel exchange. As you may be aware, we will be doing a video series where we're talking to gravel enthusiasts from around the world. And today I am very, very fortunate to have with me Carlo van Nistlerooy, the race director for LTD Gravel Raid, and none other than Lawrence ten Dam himself, professional adventurer. So, guys, I'd love for you. Well, first, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting.
We'd love to know a little bit more about you guys and your backgrounds within cycling. So, Carlo, do you want to share with us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. Well, I'm the race director of all the LTD events. We do gravel events. We have an organization. We also organize race events, bigger race events throughout Europe, which is also not happening right now. And I think we hooked up 3 years ago, Lawrence, at the kitchen table with Lawrence and Tessa. We had a mutual friend. Lawrence had plans to do gravel events in the Netherlands, and then we sat down and I think we had a chat for over an hour and everything was set. And so we did LTD Gravel Raid for the first time in 2018 in Hellenthal in Germany, just over the border in the Eifel region. So like yourself, Leland, I'm the guy behind the scenes. Getting everything done with a great team of people. We have the routes and all the logistics and stuff. And Lawrence is our main man. So he attracts a lot of people, which is nice.
Boom.
Well, Lawrence, you're a professional adventurer now. What does that mean?
Yeah, I just thought it was a cool name. Like before I was a pro cyclist, and how would you describe yourself now? Like I was thinking, and I just experience my adventures, and I just document them on my podcast. We do some video. I write for a Dutch magazine called Bicycle. Yeah, actually, it's the bicycling only then the Dutch version. Bicycling USA as like a spin-off, and I'm chief editor of that one. So it's my task to experience as much as possible experiences, and then tell them to the people, and I just would like to encourage as many people as possible to go on the bike and enjoy the bike and enjoy being outside and having adventures, So also the pro cycling career was kind of an adventure for me for 16 years. But it also held me back on experience some of the more extreme stuff, because it was not good for condition and stuff like that. So that's why I could right now I can go on, for example, Dirty Kansas, but also thinking about GB Duro or some other bike pack stuff with my friends or stuff like that. So it's a lot of adventuring, and always the bike is involved.
Yeah, I saw your alternative ride that you did with Paul Arrington. We'll chat with Paul as well as he tells us about UK gravel, but that looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's some kind of thing. It started in my mind like, okay, I've done Flanders for so many years, raced there, and now I would like to see the other side, and to be on the to be on in the bar together with the old people talking about the races and also the history of the battlefields over there, and just to see it from the other side instead of just the race and the result and a lot of people being out. I just want to experience it. Yeah. Also, I did all the mountains from the backside or the unknown side, all the famous mountains, but also I would like we hit the pub, and we started to talk to people, and we stopped that signs about World War I, and stuff like that. Stuff you don't do when you're training or recon a race, you know. And I got time for that now, so that's cool. And of course we did it also with our sleeping bags and everything with us. So we yeah, it was like a 2-day adventure.
Great weather.
Yeah. Well, and I know as a professional cyclist, you probably had to mind your diet quite a bit. Are you looking forward to being able to eat a little bit more?
Yeah, I must admit, I thought I would drink more beers after after retiring, or but it's of course I don't watch my diet anymore, but I'm still like sometimes like especially in the lockdown I was a little bit less busy with planning things, so I'm still on the bike for 20 hours a week.
Uh-huh.
So they stay pretty skinny, but no, I'm not watching my diet anymore. I just eat what I want and I drink what I want, but I also still ride a lot. So
Good, because food and beer is a big part of gravel.
yeah, it's a big part of gravel. It's also a big part of the LTD gravel race. When I was on the kitchen table together with Carlo 3 years ago, I insisted on having good food, you know, and nice beer.
Yeah.
So I think we're the only event, for example, like every morning we bake fresh bread at 6 a.m. on a wooden oven. It's fired up by the bakery. I know already since 2012, living in Maastricht, trying to find a good spelt bread. I got friends with a bakery, and basically we're partnering since then. And then he provides for 600 people freshly baked bread in the morning, and that's something and then it's hand cut. So they bake the big loaves, and it's hand cut at 6 a.m. in the morning by all the volunteers. And then you come out of your tent, and then you smell the smelling the fresh bread baked in a wooden oven, in a wood fired oven. That's a small thing. And then in the night we have a big barbecue or and a good beer, a big party. I remember I went to Grand Duro in 2016, and basically the LTD gravel race is being based on that. So with segments and camping for 2 days with the basically it's a big festival of rock music, anything. But I wanted better food, and I think we succeeded in that. I must give also Carlo the thumbs up for that, because he sensed that it was really important for me. So now he's always busy with arranging even better food.
I don't even care what the ride is like.
No, what we like, everybody likes.
Well, I was telling Carlo earlier, I tried very hard to find an orange bitter here in Emporia so I could feel like a proper Dutchman. But he tells me I'm not missing out on anything.
Oh, he's got it. I got my beer fridge next to me, so.
Wonderful.
Now this is I actually went out to buy one because I was out of Oranje bitter. The only fun thing about Oranje bitter that is orange, and orange being the national color. Okay, we drink it. But I have a better option, and that's Kilo Peach from Germany. Kilo Peach is 42%. So gravel ride being in the Eifel in Germany, I always take a little bit of this stuff with me when being on the road in Germany.
Right.
And we do two events, Leland.
Carlo, what do you think of this one then?
This is great stuff.
Also, this one and this one. We like the bitters. It's all different kinds of sweet bitters they make.
So we do the gravel raid which is end of September, 25th up to 27th. We hope, considering everything with the current COVID situation. And we have a new event, Gravel Fest. We did that in March, and then we postponed it till the 23rd of May. And now we're on December 12th. And we hope that it will continue. Hopefully we will get together there in the same atmosphere as we have with the gravel raid. So it's all about having fun, being out there in nature and with friends, having a beer, having a concert, Lawrence has a podcast there. We always have great friends like Nicky Terpstra was our guest a few years back. Last year, Sam Omen and Tom Dumoulin were there, and they, they're just there as friends, and they don't, they maybe need to sign an autograph here and there, but it's there as important as any other guest that we have that weekend, because it's all about having fun on and off the bike.
Well, let's dive into gravel in the Netherlands, and it sounds already like the attitude and the atmosphere is similar, but let's go back to the beginning, because in the United States, where this modern gravel cycling originated, it really got started around 2005, 2006. 2006 was the first year of Dirty Kanza, but it was really small and unknown for many years. So when did the Netherlands catch wind? And I'm asking you two to speak on behalf of the country, but when did people over there start to hear of gravel cycling, and what were your initial thoughts of this stuff?
So I must say, it's still different in Holland than in the US, because here it's more about rides instead of racing. Like Kanza is a big race factor. Actually, now this year in Europe, they started with something with 4 races, but in Holland, there's not a real gravel race yet, Carlo?
No, not yet. So it's more about rides, enjoying. I think there will be, we talked also to the Dutch Cycling Federation to organize the first Open Dutch Championships of gravel. But the situation in the Netherlands is more about rides, just enjoying yourself. The whole culture is as important as the cycling itself. So it's more about.
I want to say, like, we don't have a race yet like Kanza. Like Kanza right now is, if you win it, it's life changing maybe. And in Holland, it's not. If you win my gravel race, you get a big bowl of beer. You're for 1 minute on the podium, and then everybody continues with the party. But I happen to know Emily, the girl who won last year. And I remember I was living in Santa Cruz, California in 2016, and she came to the city because she wanted to ride bikes more and stuff like that. And now that she won Kansas, suddenly she can live from. She's like a pro cyclist now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know in Europe there's not something like that yet.
And so your guys' event in 2018 was the first year, and that was one of the early gravel events. So was there any gravel prior to that, gravel events in Holland?
No, not. There were some smaller events, but no bigger events. I think gravel caught on earlier in the UK, because in the UK you have like the Dirty River event and some other events, and the mainland lagged behind a bit. We were the first bigger event, and now you see them popping up all over Europe. I'm also working on a project called Gravel Union. Gravelunion.cc is a website. They have all kinds of events throughout, and it's really catching on. Some of them, well, most like we discussed earlier, it's more about having fun in the weekend, going out there. And some are also race events. I know that there's a series of events. I think you were asked to join them as well, Lawrence.
It's the Gravel Epic series.
Yeah. So there's
movement, but we were the first big one, I think, in Europe or in the Netherlands. And also basically because I came out of the US in 2016. I was living there for 1 year. Stop, Siri. I was living in the US. Siri is bothering me. In the US in 2016, and there I came into the gravel scene. Like I started to do grasshoppers in California. I did Grinduro. I did Leadville. I did a great race named Tainthammer, and then I was hooked. And I came back to Holland, and there was nothing in 2017 when I came back. So then I decided to organize events myself, and that's what we're doing now. So but that's growing. The community is growing. Like you see on Komoot, you see every week you see pop up more rides, and because of the route planning, you can link routes together. And for Dirty Cancelled, we happen to find, for example, 40 miles out of 200 on gravel, and the rest of it would be pavement then still, because it's not as remote as Kansas itself. You know, we're still Europe.
So, Carlo, what was the general feeling from people when Lawrence came back and said, "Hey, this gravel's a lot of fun"? What did the typical person over there think? Were they like, "Oh, that's some American nonsense," or were they kind of excited to embrace it?
Well, they actually embraced it from the first minute on. I mean, Lawrence did a great job getting the Netherlands ready for gravel riding, because he mentioned it a lot, and he was actually already doing some events. Well, like he said earlier, like back in 2016, and we saw that the moment the word got out that we were doing something, we got emails and people asking, "Okay, where can we join?" So the first event that we did in 2018, we only had 350 tickets. It's a smaller event, and we were sold out, well, easily. Last year, we had like around 500 people, because it's a complete weekend with, food and drinks and everything. So it really caught on from day one, actually. And I think that for us, it's also important that the event that we had in mind, we didn't want it to be a typical Dutch cycling tour. We really wanted to bring in the gravel DNA, and I think that Lawrence, with his background, he did the tweaking. Okay, this is how it works in the States, and obviously in Europe we do things differently sometimes, but we have the overall feel is really a feel that you probably also have in the events in the States. So live. The motto is. You can. What's the motto?
I wanted to say, but to be honest, we had to educate the people a little bit, huh?
Sure.
Because they were used to the roadie rides or to the roadie events, and suddenly we decided to have music at the rest stops, chips, M&Ms, bacon, beers, a lot of beers. And I must, in the first event, there were some people, they didn't get the concept. The second year, boom, everybody know, and you saw also more gravel bikes coming.
First year, we had a lot of mountain bikes also, and the mountain bikes are
people. Yeah, they didn't have the bike yet, and now they had to. Now they buying the gravel bikes, and they know what a gravel bike is, in contrary to for example, a cross bike or a mountain bike or stuff like that. And I think the market is getting ready, but we had to educate the people a little bit, and I did it a lot in the podcast and in the magazine, and now everybody's up to it.
We see this, the sales of gravel bikes in the Netherlands is growing
on the rise. Yeah.
So and we're not that remote like you in Kansas, but we do have a lot of farm roads and woodlands, and so we can go off road. And Netherlands being a cycling country, our cycling paths, we have like a very well organized cycling network of cycling paths throughout. It's crowded, with the e-bikes and with your regular race bikes and with your city bikes. That it's really nice to just go off the grid and do your thing. And I see that the development of it's now the group of gravel riders is growing. It's not mainstream yet, but it's like at first. Like Lawrence said, we had to educate the people a little bit. But I used to be in the music. I was a pretty unsuccessful bass player in a heavy metal band, and you see this subculture thing. Like, okay, this is not, and you don't want it to be mainstream. It needs to, we need a little bit of an edge. So it's nice to see that people want to And where you go, if you go to one event or the other event, it's like, if the atmosphere is right, you chat with a few people and you feel at home straight away. So I think that the whole, we're broadening up the whole base of gravel riders in the Netherlands. And what strikes me is that although some of them, can go very, very fast, it's more about the whole feel, having a beer, doing a burger, having a chat about life and silly things. It's broad.
Yeah, and we know that in Europe, cycling is big, cyclocross, of course, and even mountain biking. But when we think about European road cycling, we think very strict, very clean, white socks, white shoes. So it is good to know that Lawrence, as a professional, you can get dirty from time to time there.
When is this, man? Fuck, where did you find that? I forgot.
I did some digging last night.
Yeah. Oh no, I used to be when I was a small kid. I used to be a goalkeeper, and I like to dive in the mud. So I don't care the mud. Actually, yesterday I was still on the beach, and because we also have, that's something you don't have in the US. Maybe we have the beach racing in winter. That's like real racing. So we race like 20 miles, like back and forth on the beach. Like a real fast race, and then we have special beach bikes for it. It's like fat tires, with slicks. So yesterday I was also on the beach, and the beach was bad, so we were going into the sand. So I was riding in the water, to get out of to still be moving. But you're right about that. The road cycling always has the rules, and they are strict. And for example, 2010, I started to grow my beard, and the first time I was on the team picture the year after, they photoshopped the beard away because you were not allowed to have a beard as a road cyclist. Now everybody has a beard, but back then it was like a no-go. You have to have the white socks, the shaved legs, and it's really there are really a lot of rules, and for me also the gravel race and gravel riding, for me it's just about fun, like being out, being on the bike, and being nice to each other, being nice for the community. Also, I want to remark that I don't know if I just, for example, now there's a lot of discussion going on about World Tour pros ruining gravel, or pro riders trying to win Kansas and stuff like that. Being aero or non-aero or what the fuck, and I'm like, at the end, a pro cyclist or a World Tour cyclist or a Taylor Finney or a Peter Stetina or a Lawrence Van Dam who's retired, at the end we're just guys who love to race our bikes. And of course we train a lot, and of course we've been in the World Tour and have been under all those rules from the World Tour, and we handled according to it, or we try to, but at the end we just guys love to race bikes. I just want to pin a number on once every month, just to feel the adrenaline and to go full, and then afterwards have a beer. And if that's in a grasshopper, that's okay for me. And if that's in a Kenza, that's even better for me because I've never done it and I want to experience the new rides. But that's riding. So that's why I don't get it when people say we were here first and those pros, they have to stay away, because at the end they're the same as you. They just guys love to ride their bike. They happen to be good at it. Now, good for them, and maybe that's why they go into the World Tour, because they were good bike racers. But it's not about, if it's about the community and the experience, then I also think you don't have to be sad that they steal your prizes away or something, because for you it's about the community, right? So
yeah. Well, I'll tell you,
the other side, when I see in Kansas, nobody of the guys is on the it's five guys on the podium, in Kansas. The day after in the I think it's in a sports place or something, where there's where everybody's coming to and they cheer for the winners, and
an award ceremony. Yeah, an award show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you should be there. Also, as a World Tour pro, I won't book my flight back Saturday night or Sunday morning. I will be there at least a Monday night and be there for the community. That's the same I did for Leadville. I was in Leadville in 2016. But the guys who want to race Kansas, I can imagine it being World Tour pros because if they at the end, and also I don't think what I agree with is they don't have to take it too serious maybe or go there with team buses. That's not the spirit of the sport maybe, but at the end, those guys are still guys who love to race bikes, and I think you should welcome them.
Well, and I'll tell you this, Lawrence, it's still very, very hard, even for the World Tour pros, because Dirty Kansas, it's a different challenge, and you're going to have many flat tires that you'll have to change on your own. And Sven Nys, he came over a couple of years ago and didn't finish. He couldn't finish the ride.
I'm terrified, man.
Yeah.
Because I never did a plug in a tire. To plug a tire, I learned it last month and then also the distance. And for example, I did Leadville 2016, same. I came there straight after the Tour de France. No, but I didn't even know that there was like what a tubeless tire was. I was such a newbie. So on the start line, my rear tire explodes, and I'm like, what the fuck? Traveled there for 3 days to come there. So also we have to learn, and I'm not. Of course, I've got ambition. I want to do as good as I can, but I'm not thinking I'm going to win Kansas like this because. Also, for example, Colin Strickland, I follow him. It's a great rider. He's in the prime age of competing well, I think he's got also the better power than I have. I'm just a retired World Tour pro coming to Kansas to have fun together with Stefan. So the old pro and a new rider, and then we want to make a nice story about the race, and have a big barbecue with all the people over there.
Exactly. Well, hey, we don't want to dwell on DK too much. We want to hear more about what you guys are doing. And you've talked a little bit about gravel raids. So we understand this is the event that, Lauren, it has your name on it. And Carlo, you're the race director. You've shared some things. But if you guys don't mind, you've got a great 2-minute video from an after movie. And I'd like to go ahead and share my screen and share that with our viewers real quick because I'm a visual person, and as much as I love to imagine the bread, we can actually see it here. So I'm going to switch over here and share this video real quick, and then after that, we want to hear some more about your event.
Yep.
So let's get the screen up here. Okay.
This is what I had in mind when I came up with the idea of the LTD gravel race. Over 500 gravel drivers living my motto for life. Live slow, drive fast. Live slow during the festival. Enjoying a beer at the campfire, listening to live music. LTD gravel race is a celebration of cycling, of having a good time on and off the
With everything.
That's cool.
Bands, bread, beer, bikes.
Yeah, I can't wait to come back.
It's everything.
Yeah, it's got everything. No,
So,
basically, I combined the best of all I got, all my experience, and I created the ultimate festival for me. So.
yeah. Well, Carlo, we've touched on some of the things, but tell us again, where does this take place? When does this take place? Let's dive into Gravel Raid, because this is what Lauren's learned from the United States and brought back and said, this is what I want to create. Carlo, help me.
Now, like I said, we have two events. One is in December at Gravel Fest, which is in the south of the Netherlands. That's the only part of the country where we have some hills. So it's in the Amstel Gold Race area. That's December 12th this year. It's going to be a one-day event, Saturday only. Same atmosphere, 600 people. Gravel Raid is the event that we already did twice. It's in Hellenthal. That's why we always tend to sing Highway to Hellenthal in the Eifel in Germany. Yeah, it's like, for me, I live close to the German border. For me, it's an hour and a half drive, so it's pretty close by to the Netherlands. For Lawrence, it's like a 3 hours drive, maybe. He's living a little bit farther away. It's a beautiful area, the Eifel region, and dates are 25th up to 27th of September this year. So Friday, we have the day that everybody, gets in, puts up their tent. It's like a festival weekend. So, and Friday we do some recon rides, and the kids can do their thing. And there's all kinds of rides that they can pick off of Komoot. On Saturday is what we call race day. We have a real German Bürgermeister. Who's opening up everything. So that's very, very official. And then we have two loops. You have the opportunity to do 120 or 160. So you have one loop getting with one rest stop, coming back to the campsite.
Is that
where we have lunch.
kilometers or miles, Carlo?
Oh, it's K. Yeah, in Europe we tend to think in Ks. So it's kilometers. So 100 miles in total. So then we have lunch. Well, you saw that Lawrence is also very busy in doing the German Bratwursten, the German sausages. We take the time to do the lunch. So it's a long lunch. You can't just grab something and go on. No, you need to sit down at the campfire, have something proper to eat, and then starting 1:30, we'll hit the road again. We do the other loop. So in total, you can do 160, it's 100 miles, 160K or 120. And some of people, just when they had the first loop and they had to have one beer, maybe have another, and say, well, second loop is not going to happen today. All good. Then we have a big party on Saturday night with a band and rock music, and people are enjoying themselves, having a few quartermans, and maybe one or two quartermans too many. But then we have on Sunday, we have the hangover ride, where Lawrence, who's a real man, when he drinks, he gets up early in the morning still, and he goes out for a ride. I think you do 40K on a Sunday morning, don't you, Lawrence? Just chill, and then we just get a coffee, have a bite to eat, and then everybody packs up again, and we head back home. So it's a Friday until Sunday event, and it's like we continue to say, it's all about atmosphere. You see the video, it's like it doesn't matter if you're really fast or if you're taking your time. It's all good. Community feel is the most important thing of the whole event, and we organize it we have like 50 volunteers on event. So everything, we only have 500 people. So everything's pretty good organized, and we have our own kitchen. We have the wood oven. We have hamburgers with the best meat. We try to be as organic and environment friendly as we can be. So it's for me as an organizer, this is, like I said, you know, having a rock and roll background, this is music meets sports meets fun. So it checks all the boxes with me.
Well, your video makes it seem like you got it 100% correct in year one.
Thank you.
And it's
Well, come over and join us.
Have you had an American participate yet?
It's not. I must say that it's not 100% correct, because already 2 years in a row, Carlo is surprised by the amount of beers being drunk by all the people.
Not enough.
So last year we had 180 cases, like 24 bottles of Quaremont, sold out. So we had to grab cases from the local supermarket,
Yeah,
the
it was
local
really-
German beers to get everybody going. And the first year actually happened the same. So already, yeah, it's crazy. Like the people are really enjoying themselves, and it's a
No,
real crossover.
So the first year, we hadn't enough cases of beer. So stress. Well, we bought plenty of cases of German beer at the local store. And then next year you think, well, they're not going to outdrink them the last year. It's impossible. So we make sure that we have enough of Quaremont. The children are. But then on Saturday afternoon, we already noticed that this is going to be close. So we ordered extra. So they brought us more. So we just managed to have stock for the beers. So, but it's all about atmosphere. When you're enjoying yourself, then you don't mind. And we have fair prices, which is also the people. I know the friends of Lawrence. They the staff at the bar. They were a little surprised when they ordered a full case, 24 bottles of beer, please. Just give me the case. I will bring it back later, so everybody was going, whoa. So it's people are enjoying themselves.
Good, as they should be.
And getting back to your question, Leland, yes, we do have Americans. First year we were very, very happy that we
Hawaiian.
Hawaiian, yeah.
First year there was a Hawaiian also, yeah.
There was a guy from New York, but he had a remarkable Dutch last name, so he probably was an expat living in New York. But the audience is mainly from the Netherlands and Flanders, so Belgium. It's about 80%. We have a lot of more and more Germans come in because it's in Germany. But we always have we have the Romanian guy who always visits us, and a few people from France, Spain, Luxembourg, all over Europe. And you're welcome to come and join us. We can always have more Americans.
Yeah.
Well, my wife encouraged
we order a case of beer for you.
Good. My wife encouraged me to do that DNA test, and I knew my family was German, but I'm 45% German. So
oh wow,
I'll feel right at home and drink plenty of German beer. Yeah.
You can have the
you
kilo
need the half a liter, the big pint.
Das Boot. Give me the boot.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I know this is a tough question to kind of answer, and maybe you don't want to give away all your secrets, but what do you think the future of not only gravel raids specifically as an event, but the future of gravel cycling in Holland? What is it going to look like in a few years from now? How will it continue to grow?
For me, that's a difficult question. I don't talk also too much gravel because, like I said, for me it's also about adventuring. And for example, there's a bike pack race in the Pyrenees in October normally. It's called Trans-Pyrenees. And it's more or less roads, but it's still an adventure, you know. You're with your gear on the bike. And so for me, also I think the bikepacking thing or the bikepack racing is going to grow bigger. Also, now in Corona times, I don't know how much of the mass events are still possible, you know, things like that we also have to be aware of. And for example, Gibiduro invited me because I said, yeah, we're just being raised by 50 people. You're not allowed to be together or to make groups, but you're racing solo and you just follow the GPS. I don't know about that, but also that's appealing to me, like even more extreme. For me, I hope, to be honest, that the gravel in Holland is also more going into some racing because, like I said in the beginning, I just like to pin a number and to go fast and race, you know, and that's why I put segments in my ride. You know, there's still a winner at the end of the race. So I hope that I don't have to travel to the US to do grasshopper style races, you know, a small local race or like Kansas or stuff like that. So that's what would be cool to me too, you know. And but still, I call myself a pro adventurer and not a gravel racer or a gravel pro. So it's a part of my occupation, daily occupation. But it's also, you know, I got my bike bags here, and I'm planning for next week. I plan a bike pack trip in the dunes, and I also still record podcasts on road racing because for me also road racing is not that. Maybe in the US it is, but Tour of Flanders is still the day it unites Belgium, for example. But the gravel racing, I hope the community stays welcoming for everybody and not going to push away people or stuff like that. You know,
Yeah,
not
I
too
agree.
much.
I think,
Yeah, not too much of. It's good to create a little bit of, like I did with Pete Stedina, I create a little bit of fight, you know, but it's all with a smile and just because I know him and I take the piss with him and he takes the piss with me, but at the end, we're all friends and I hope that stays. I am also good friends with Ted King and I hope that stays the same.
I think as long as we keep it inclusive, you know, everybody who wants to join can join and nobody's laughing at you. You're wearing the wrong socks or you know, respect each other. And if you want to race, and we also have plans to actually have like the the Open Dutch Championships, but it always will be with a smile and, you know, ride hard and then afterwards shake hands like, you know, like a good sport and have a beer. That's the most important thing. Don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, great.
And what I really like about the gravel racing, actually, how it is right now, instead of, I always give the example of me being in the Tour de France, and you know, then you're together in a race with 180 guys racing bikes, so it's real small actually, the bunch. And then you come in Paris, and everybody starts to celebrate with their own team in a like private dining room, and they celebrate the tour is finished. How cool would it be to have like a big celebration barbecue in Paris? You know, to put all the buses in a big circle, have a few big barbecues. Everybody has pizza, pulled pork, whatever, and then celebrate that you did the whole Tour de France all together. And that's a good thing for gravel racing. It's a mass start. Also, amateurs or weekend warriors can race together with the pros like me, Stedina, King, Strickland. I don't know. They do the same parcours, and then afterwards, you have so many stories, and you could share them at the finishers party, or the day after at the award ceremony, and everybody has a good story and everybody will walk around with a big smile on their face. The number one, but also the number two, and also the number last. Instead of the Tour de France, you know, you have so much pressure from your sponsors, you know, and that's what I like about everybody wins, you know.
And that's my hope for the future, Lorenz, is, you know, when the Education First boys came to Dirty Kansas last year and some people were concerned they would ruin gravel. They were some of the best ambassadors because I think it was either Alex Howes or Lachlan said, we don't want to bring the world tour to gravel. We want to bring gravel to the world tour. So maybe in the future, we will see the culture around professional road cycling change to be more inclusive and a little more carefree.
You're right. To be honest, I brought that to my teams. You know, my teams last years in my Grand Tours, because I had a barbecue sponsor. So I put some of the barbecues in the bus, and on the rest days we would have barbecues and stuff like that. You know, and I was always a little bit different in the World Tour, but I was happy to do my own part, and I think more because it's getting so strict. You see also riders to want to get out of that. You know, before when I turned pro in the beginning of 2000, like when Kansas was like 2004 was my first pro year. It was more like I think the gravel racing now. You know, I went to all the races with my friends. I raced with my friends, and then we drank beer in the night, and there were no phones, there was no power meter, so we played poker in the nights, you know, together, and we were just having fun. And I think the World Tour pros they are searching that feeling anymore, you know, again, because like I said, at the end they just want to ride bikes and not too much bullshit.
Well, guys, we're coming up on about an hour, so we do have a few rapid fire questions here for
Okay.
you. This is, we need to know about Dutch culture and cycling. And so first question is Laurens, does riding in clogs make you go faster?
You know, I don't even own clogs.
Are you even really Dutch if you don't have clogs?
Yeah. Do you have clogs, Carlo?
I have to admit, yes, I have.
Oh, you have them? No, yeah, it's like,
It's even worse. My father used to make wooden shoes back in the day. So
oh, really?
the whole industry went away in the 70s, but he was a wooden shoe maker, clockmaker in the 60s. So yeah, I have a pair. Yeah, I don't ride with them, but I have a pair.
Well, it's a little bit the same as like Dutch kids think you eat a burger every night, you know, but I probably have once in a while Mexican too.
Well, this one's maybe a little more accurate. It's said that every Dutch shed has 12 bikes. So how many bikes do you guys have, and what kind of bikes are you riding?
Oh man, I have to do the I have to start counting.
How about your gravel bike? Just tell us about your gravel bike.
Yeah, so my gravel bike is there, hanging there. It's a Diverge GRX equipped 2x because I live in Holland and I like to have like a big ring, you know, like a big ring because it's on the flat.
For when the wind is behind you.
Then I must admit, tomorrow I'm going to build in that box over there. There's the new Diverge because Specialized is coming with a new frame.
Yeah.
I think May 7. It's under embargo still, but tomorrow I'm going to build that. And then I have 2 road bikes, track bike, normal bike, and then my kids all have 2 bikes, my wife, yeah, and then I think if I really start counting, I come to 20 bikes in this household. It's crazy.
But do you have a drinking bike, Laurens? You know, an old bike that we take if we go.
Yeah. Of course, I got a town bike, and mine even has like those big bags. You know, I do groceries with my bike. You know, and then also it's still on the back of the bike. I can put the kids on and everything. So no, we got a ton of bikes over here in our house.
Wonderful. Carlo, how about you? I know we race directors don't get to ride our bikes very much. We're doing all the work.
Well, in these times we do, Leland.
Yeah. True. I'm more now than ever.
No, I have a few. I think I own 3 race bikes, a Specialized bike, and I have 1 gravel bike. It's over there. It's a Koppel GRX. Koppel is a small Dutch brand. I have a mountain bike, and I have a few city bikes. I have my drinking bike. It's pretty close to where I am at, maybe 7 or 8.
Nice.
There's always it's a small country. We do a lot on the bike, and the infrastructure is great over here. So if you, especially when you only live like 5 or 10K away from the office, everybody takes a bike. That's the best way to go.
Well, and I will say, you both riding on a Specialized, Lawrence, you have the Diverge. You can get Specialized Diverge from Gravel City Adventure and Supply Company. You can order those,
Okay.
and we can ship those. We are a dealer. So,
Wow.
anyways, guys, we've probably taken our allotted time here, and I greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your day. It's morning here, but it's afternoon for you guys, and
Yeah.
it's been a real pleasure learning a little bit about where gravel is at over there in the Netherlands, and what you guys are doing to bring that culture and community to your area and your country. And so it's been a lot of fun.
Cool. I
Cool.
can't wait to go to Emporia. I really hope Donald let me in.
It's on my
Yeah.
bucket list.
Like I don't have to go into quarantine for 2 weeks or
Yeah,
something.
fingers crossed.
Depends.
Okay, guys.
Okay, Leland.